Tricky. Canes, let's go.
Hello. Right, here we go. Kind of a mixed start to the season for the Canes. I think they were actually fourth in the New Zealand conference. I think drawn on points with the Chiefs. Similar to the Chiefs, have a bit of an up and down season. Got smashed first match out against the Stormers, but then beat Jaguares. Importantly, beat the Sharks, which is a massive win for them. Smashed the Sunwolves. And then the last two both against New Zealand teams, which will be interesting to see when they play them the next few weeks. They lost to the Blues at home, which I'll speak about in a minute about kind of why that happened and their faults this season. And then they beat the Chiefs, which is the one you spoke about, Johnny. And actually, just to kind of go back to that, you say you reckon the Chiefs should have won it, and I know it's difficult to see from the highlights, but I actually think that it's kind of typical of the way that the Canes have played, and maybe it's typical of Super Rugby, in that some great tries created, but some sloppy mistakes to concede them. And then another one of the things that the Canes have done really poorly this season is poor discipline. And that was in one of those games where TJ Paranara got a yellow card and Chiefs scored in that period that he was off the field, which then brought that to a tied match. And then the Chiefs gave away a penalty, which Geordie Barrett stotted over 80 minutes to give them the win. The other game that they lost against the Blues, again, marred by discipline, they had a red card and then a yellow by Geordie Barrett towards the end of the game as well. So at one stage they were down to 13 and lost that game by 9 points.
Were they not already on a yellow card when the red card happened? So they were playing with 12 for a couple of minutes.
Oh, well, that wasn't in the highlights.
Yeah,
That's the problem watching highlights. But yeah, it kind of goes to show even more that the discipline has hurt them in the games they've played already this season. So they're going to need to try and turn it around when it's going to be such a tight conference already. Teams, the New Zealand teams beating each other. So that's obviously going to be incredibly exciting to watch. But yeah, in all, as I say, it might be a Super Rugby thing, having not watched that much of it myself so far. I'm looking forward to watching more of it, but certainly from the Canes, of the highlights that I've watched so far, have created amazing tries in attack, but have been sloppy in defence, given away a few interception tries, a few just soft tries, kind of what we see all the time in the Premiership, pushover tries on the try line or tries from rolling mauls. Incredibly poor at stopping them. And I know that's not easy, but for somebody that watches a lot of Premiership, they would have, a lot of them probably have been stopped in Premiership rugby. So if I was to pick out a few things they need to improve upon, that's what that would be. Looking at my top five, I'm going to go from 5 to 1. A few of these names will be quite familiar, especially with you guys that have watched more rugby. But coming in at number 5, when I hadn't heard it before, and after a bit of reading, seems that he's a bit out of left field, is Jacobus van Wyk. So he signed from the Sharks, had a few seasons for the Sharks and a few for the Stormers before that, it seems. On the opposite wing to Ben Lamb, who I'll talk about in a minute, but those two wingers have been electric so far. Van Wyk scored 4 tries in 6 matches, and I think he's joint 6th or something, joint 8th in the top try scorer in the tournament so far. So he's been running them in for fun. But what I really like about him, from what I've watched so far, is he's a smart player. When he scored his tries, he's popped up just when he needed to be there in positions where they were the gaps in the backfield. A bit different to Lamb, who we'll speak about in a minute, who's a powerful runner and just kind of, if he's got a defender in front of him, he'll run over him. Van Wyk seems to be more clever in that he's picking out the gaps and he's timing his runs perfectly, and he's scored a few really timely tries doing that. Then 4 I've got there for Fifita, who you probably have heard of before, and had a good season with the All Blacks, a good couple of seasons with the All Blacks before the World Cup, and then he's had his injury. I think it was his knee or something like that. I think that kept him out of the World Cup, but came back in time for the first few matches of the Super Rugby and had a few really good games. And just his ability to draw players in, bring the ball to the line, and then offload. Sometimes offloading out the top with one hand. Those really like showboaty offloads that we love to see from the likes of Nakawara. He's put in quite a few. He's allowed Ben Lamb to score a few tries from doing that and giving them easy run-ins. I think he's joint 9th in the tournament with offloads, 8 offloads in 6 matches. So to have that ability in the forwards to release some of the fast backs that the Hurricanes have is really going to be one of their weapons. 3, talked about him a little bit, Ben Lamb. He's Kane's top try scorer, and he's joint second in the league, joint first in New Zealand, I believe. I might be wrong with that, actually. 5 tries in 6 games. Really, really powerful runner, as I said already. He sees a man in front of him, he just runs straight over him. So he's been really quality for the Canes so far this season. 2 outlets on either wings makes them very dangerous. Interestingly, signed for Bordeaux Begler for next season. So he's got this Super Rugby season to finish for the Canes after a few years, and then he's off to Europe. So hopefully he'll be able to sign off the season with a bang. And then 2, Geordie Barrett, really, really important for the Canes. He's their goal kicker, joint 3rd point scorer in the tournament with 42 points so far. Seems to be just nerves of steel with the boot, and that's been really important already. He's effectively won a game against the Chiefs with his boot, but also he pops up everywhere, making assists, making try-saving tackles. So he's one of those players that's going to be really important for Canes this season. And then finally, my kind of star player, a guy that has kind of popped up everywhere and been involved in nearly all their tries, is Ngani Loamape. It seems like everything really comes from him, from the Canes. I've noticed a lot they've not really replaced Barrett. They've stuck with Fletcher Smith as their 10, and it seems as though he's done quite well as well and made some breaks. But a lot of what they do, yeah, I know I haven't seen all the matches, so I don't really know. But a lot of what they do, certainly that I've noticed, is they give it to Loamape and they see what he can do with it, and he's been able to make quite a few tries from it. It's joint 6th in the tournament with clean breaks and defenders beaten, with 11 clean breaks, 23 defenders beaten. So his ability with the ball in hand is second to none, and he's put in quite a few players for some run-ins, Ben Lam and Van Wyk on either side. So yeah, those are my top 5, and just a few notable mentions really quickly, because there's some decent players at the Canes, especially in the back line. But some that I haven't mentioned, Arnie Salvaire coming back from injury. Hopefully he's going to put in a few decent performances for them. Their captain, TJ Paranara, Vince Arso, he's been playing at 13 for them. He's a bit maverick from what I've seen so far, but he's got some ability in him as well. He's got some pace. And then Dane Coles, obviously.
Player.
Yeah, he's an interesting one.
He'll score 3 tries or do nothing.
Yeah. From what I've seen in the highlights, there was a couple of just ridiculous offloads that somehow worked in tries for the Canes. But when I say ridiculous, in that he threw it to absolutely nobody. It was on the floor for a good few seconds, and then somebody else from the Canes managed to get there first, pick it up and score. Not the offload you want to see, but it makes it exciting for the neutral, certainly. So, yeah, the Canes are not short of quality players, especially in that back line, and I can't wait to see what they can do this season.